Hi everyone, we're here today for another in the series. I'm joined today by an old friend, David Jones, corporate finance advisors. You were one at a high level for many years. Even with all the knowledge in the market, there must be some common misconceptions, misunderstandings of what your role is, what your role isn't.
Unless you've been through a transaction, you probably don't realize how much weight it puts on the finance team, finance director. It's you've got to do your day job and you've got all this on top. The fees being paid to corporate finance advisors, you kind of assume, oh, well, they'll build a model and they'll write the information memorandum and they'll do all the work. Well, that's actually not the case. It generally gets pushed back to the team to do the work. Yes, there may be some modeling support, or you may be charged additional fees for the modeling, but you got to assume that you've got to be doing the hard graft to build the model, build the forecasts. The worst thing you can have is that perception that the forecasts have been built by the corporate finance advisor, and you often hear it. That's Goldman Sachs's model or JP Morgan's model. Well, they're the advisor. The model and the forecast should be owned by the management team. You don't want to be sitting in a room when some, diligence accountant is asking you about an assumption in the model, and you're kind of going, "Well, I don't really know. That was my advisor put it together." That just doesn't work.
No, that's going to undermine credibility straight away, isn't it?
So the forecasts have to be the management's forecasts, and you'll get into your SPA, your sale and purchase agreement. There'll be requirements around warranting various parts of the information. Now, you won't warrant the forecast, but you will warrant that they've been put together accurately. But they're not your advisor's forecasts, and you shouldn't assume that your advisor will do the forecasting. It's got to be something that's, if you're talking about a transaction, you should be thinking about the forecasts required for that transaction and building it well before you get into any process.
Again, we're coming back to that start early again, aren't we? It's become apparent through this conversation to me quite how early you need to have a really robust forecast or forecast process, because it runs right through the deal. It's absolutely critical.
Yeah, and there's no harm in talking to advisors early, pre-transaction, to kind of understand whether you've got the right forecasts, whether the forecasts can be sliced and diced in the right way. A lot of businesses now coming to market will have vendor diligence. So effectively, you have a team of accountants on your side who are preparing a vendor diligence pack, or you have something which is called vendor assist. So you may have somebody who's your side of the table assisting you with getting the business ready for a transaction. So there's lots of support out there. But again, do you need it? Well, if you prepare early, you can probably get an awful lot of this information ready for a transaction. Yeah. And depending on you as a size of business, if you take 12, 15, 18 months to prepare for a transaction, then you can get your data room prepared, you can get your forecast there, you can do a lot of this work yourself. And again, that's what you should do. It's not always what we see. And in an awful lot of cases, you turn up and they kind of go, okay, what do we need? And you kind of go, well, as a board, you want to go to market in 3 months' time.
No,
well, we can't do this. You are not ready for a transaction.
Yeah.
So it just, even you haven't been in the market and already the confidence is kind of going, hell, I thought we were ready for a transaction. Well, no, we haven't got anything ready. We haven't even thought about it. So I think if you are in any sort of business which may be approached by private equity where shareholders are there looking for further investment, even if you're going through a refinancing or some sort of more sophisticated debt raise, you need a set of forecasts. So as I say, it's like putting on a pair of socks. You should have it. It's just not cool to be walking around without them in place.
Excellent. You miss it?
My role now is different. I think not having that pressure of doing the deal. Whilst there's lots of adrenaline, I've got some grey hair now, so I think I've done my fair share of that. Now I think taking small businesses, helping them prepare, helping them think about what's required, and coaching them through that, getting ready for investment or getting ready for the next stage of investment. They may already have some private equity investment, but what does the next stage look like? And that's just taking years of war stories and kind of helping somebody through if you do that, this will happen. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
And I'm working with some great energetic young businesses. So I work with Big Issue Invest, which is a part of Big Issue Group. So we've got a debt fund where we lend to organizations which are doing social good. They may be charities, they may not be charities, but are struggling to raise finance from the main street, high street banks, etc. Maybe a hospice or something like that. And with a great little business in the Midlands, which does insourcing called KPI Health. So helping reduce the long waiting lists we have at the NHS. So great teams, great people, and
sounds really enjoyable, actually.
Yeah, it is, but it's a different type of enjoyment.
Yeah.